So I'm gonna turn this car around and then I'm gonna start removing all of this stainless, and I'm gonna show you how to do that and how to follow the sequence. So it'll help you and it'll help me when the time comes to put this thing back together. All right, so I'm gonna start with the stainless on the wing here. There's 3 pieces plus the paint divider. The paint divider itself is just pressed in. It has some small clips on the inside. As you can see, they didn't align this really well. This is supposed to be touching this one, and then obviously this shape here is supposed to hug right here. So whenever it comes time to put this thing back together, I'm gonna have to align the holes and make that match the way it should. You see that, you can see the paint line here. You shouldn't be able to see any of that. And then look at that big old gap. Looks terrible. So I'm gonna take this off. You just pry it off carefully. And then this one here, it just has a nut, a 3/8 nut right here on the inside, and then right here. So we may have to move that window out of the way. So as you can see, I just pried that off, came right off. You have to remove this little access door to get into the quarter panel. And I want y'all to see the inside of this quarter panel because it is gorgeous. Super solid. All original metal, no patches or nothing like that. I don't know how far we can see in there, but so there's one 3/8 nut up there, and there's supposed to be another one here, but it looks like they didn't put one. So it must be a Friday car. But you see these right here, those 3 nuts, those are also 3/8. That's for the buckle on the outside. And then these right here with the black paint on them, those are the letters, the Impala script, and those are just pressed in also. So you can push those slowly from the inside out and then just kind of pull them from the other side. Pretty easy. So the 3 nuts are holding this piece right here. This one and then this one. Okay, so these 3 pieces are off. So you want to start with this one, or honestly either one at the end. I started with this one. You can do either one. And this one, all it had was a 3/8 nut right here, which is this hole. This one didn't have a nut. You could put one when you solder it back on. There just wasn't one on there, on either side actually. And then over here in the back, there's a 5/16 speed nut here, which goes in there. And then there's a little clip, you just pull that right back out. And then this long one here, all I used was these window tint little pry tools. And I just pried it very, very slowly and it just popped right off. No damage, everything's good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the side trim here. So for the side trim, you have 2 3/8 nuts right here on the very end of the spears. And then these are called bathtub clips. But after you remove those 2 nuts here, you want to come back and then remove the buckle. This right here, they call it a buckle, and then this little small piece, which is also 3/8 nuts. So we'll get all the nuts off, and then we'll move on to these long spears. So here it is. All this has in the back is 2 3/8 nuts. And the same for this one. This is 1 3/8 nuts. And if you look closely at it, this piece is covered, but it'll tell you right from left. So you see the R right there. So what I did do on the other side, these are kind of easy to get confused. So I just marked them on the inside. I put, you know, upper left or lower left. So I'm gonna do over here, upper right, lower right. I just marked them with a marker in the back. So when it comes time to polish these, the marker in the back won't get erased or nothing. I used a permanent marker. So now for these are just popped on. All of these. Now I will say the clips are pretty stout. So you got to be careful because they're really on there. But all you got to do is just pry it real slow, and it'll pop right out. Both the same. And then these again, you just push them from the back. Just push them real slow, and you can pull them at the same time. You can reach both, and these just come right out. Just want to show you, these are, again, they're window tint pry tools, and all you got to do is just pop them out. It's super easy. See, look, just do the same thing all the way down. It'll come right off. All right, I got all the letters out. Pried them out very carefully. I can re-chrome these and reuse them. I like that they're original. Now, what I don't like that is original are these bathtub clips. So these are on permanently from the factory. You got to drill them out. So the best way, I mean, even in the factory book on how to remove these, you have to literally put a tiny little chisel here and a hammer, pop, 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 on both sides until it pops out. So this little section here, there's a tool. They popped these in back then, and then the tool expanded the inside of it, and that's why they don't come out. So the reason I don't want to use them is because I want a really nice finish. I want to be able to run my buffer all the way through and not interrupt or tear up a wool pad or any kind of buffing pad. I want to make sure I can get this slick, super flat, sanded, 100%. To where it looks like the way I want it, and I'm not going to be able to do that. These things are going to frustrate the mess out of me. So what I did on the other side is I drilled them out. I did 3 holes. I did one in the middle, one on each side, and then you can bang it real lightly and they pop right out. So this takes longer than taking off all of this stainless. So I'll bring you guys back when I get a little closer on this. So here's one of the clips. Here are the holes that I drilled. There's 3 of them. And then after I drilled the holes, I just tapped all the way around it with a real skinny screwdriver and a hammer, real lightly all the way around until it pops off. So that's the easiest way to take these out. All right, so next we gotta get this one out because this one is on top of this, and it's also under these right here. See that? It's under these, so it's kind of just snugged in there, and then it's actually over this one right here. So for this one, all there is about right here is a 3/8 nut on the bottom. Once you get that nut out, you can just slide this piece out. Then we can move to this belt line trim. This one has 4 screws on the inside, tiny little screws, but for that, we need to drop that window inside the channel. So let me get this one out and then we'll work on this one. All right, so if you can see this felt here, the felt is in perfect condition. And the screws are in the felt, so you gotta feel for them. I can feel one right here, it's a little indentation. There's one there. There's another one right here. See, that's why you need to drop that window. I know for sure there's one here in the bag. So I'm gonna show you on the other side, because I put the screws back in the sheet metal so I wouldn't lose them. And they're real tiny. So here's one here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 1 all the way in the back. This one is the one that gave me a hard time. The rest of them came out pretty easy after I was able to find them. I need to screw that back in. I don't want to lose it. And as you can see, I dropped the glass in. And for that, you had to undo it here. And right here, these 2. I had to take all those 3 out, and then this kind of dropped a little bit. And then there's a bump stop here on the bottom that'll keep the glass from rolling all the way down. That bump stop, I just loosened it, and it went down like that last little inch right here. So it was about right here. And after I removed the bump stop, it dropped. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. All right, there it is. Same 4 little screws like the other side, but I want to show you this clip on the outside. So the clip sits right in between these two. See that? So this one goes way under there, and then this one meets up to it right under it. So, and again, this one, all it had was a 3/8 nut right there in the corner right here. Once you take the nut out, you just lift this up and then pull it straight back, and that's that. And after you get these screws out, you just pull it straight out, and now all I gotta do is take this clip off, and I'm gonna put that screw right back where it's at.